Did you know that in 2020, democracy activists used Animal Crossing New Horizons to spread messages that criticize China's rule of Hong Kong? You're listening to the Xbox Hub Podcast, the official podcast of the TheXboxHub.com. For all the latest Xbox news, reviews, videos, and opinions, make sure you visit the TheXboxHub.com. But for now, settle down, get comfy, and open your ears for some podcast delights. Hello, welcome to the Xbox Hub Official Podcast, episode 143. My name is Gareth Briley. I'm going to be your host. And on my virtual left is Mr. James Bombastic Burks. I don't know why I'm doing that.
I don't like it.
I like it. I've got to carry on now. And on my virtual right is Mr. Paul Risky Renshaw. Oh, I like that. And on my
He's with it, Randy.
and on my
the small mercies.
And on my virtual opposite is Mr. Richard Desirable Dodson. There we go.
Oh, I check that. I think he's still drunk, but I'm taking that.
Desirable Dobbo, I like that.
They're like wrestling names. I like that. Let's go back. I like it.
Well, hang on. What's yours?
Gareth
Bonkers Briley.
Bonkers or Gareth Bewildered Briley. Let's just talk to you properly. James, how's your week been?
Oh, it's not been too bad. Had a few days out in Southport. It was pretty chilly, but you know, it's a nice seafront there, nice sea breeze, some decent shops. And I found a nice collectible shop. It had pops in and Batman figures, comics, all sorts.
Ah.
And I didn't buy anything. I was quite proud of myself. I had no money, I didn't buy anything.
Oh, well
I
done.
didn't steal it. Yeah, it's good.
Good. Well done.
I love the way
Yeah,
that you've made a virtue out of the fact that you had no money, so you didn't buy anything. It's like, well,
Yeah.
I'd have been impressed if you had managed to buy something with no money.
What I like about it is James has just given us a very kind of like storytelling version, like a snippet of the cost of living crisis in this country, but he's telling it. He's summarised it in this little kind of like little day trip to Southport. Done it beautifully. Good. Thank you, James. I'm glad you had a good time. Did you see that bird again? That little bird you saw in the shop?
No birdies.
No birdies. Good.
They're all dead.
God. They've all got avian flu. Yeah.
Let's go to Paul Risky Renshaw. How's your week?
Risky Renshaw. It's been great. As you can hear, I've been to Scotland and picked up some germs from north of the border, I think. So I seem to have inherited Barry White's voice. But other than that, we had a lovely time in Glasgow. And the rest of the week has just been going to work and doing work and coming home from work and just work generally.
Oh, no fun.
I also haven't bought any collectibles this week.
Oh.
Mainly because I haven't been to a collectible shop, however.
Right. Good. Richard, have you been collecting anything collectible?
I have actually. I did buy something this week.
Right.
I bought the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Collector's Edition, which has been delayed from Nintendo. Very small numbers, but I don't have a copy of the game yet. They just released all the stuff that would be in a collector's edition, but without the game. So I need to pick that up at some point now.
Hold on. What? You don't get the game in the collector's edition?
Hang on. Yeah.
So the game came out a few months ago, and the collector's edition stuff was delayed.
Oh, I see.
But they released the game as normal, but I didn't pick it up then. So I was waiting for the collector's edition items, which I've now bought, but I don't have the game yet still.
Unbelievable. How much for the collector's edition, can I ask?
Minus the game, it was £30, which I didn't think was too bad. Comes with it.
I got 30 quid, but no game.
It comes with an art book. I think it comes with a soundtrack and a steelbook.
Listen, Rick, I have actually been asked to sell the Eiffel Tower. So, for scrap and stuff. So if you'd like to buy that, we can come up with a reasonably nice price.
I'll buy it for 30 quid.
Yeah, so it's yours, mate. Just send it over PayPal and you can just pop over to France and pick it up, yeah?
Oh, it's not delivery?
No, there's no delivery. That would cost £3.5 million.
Wow. Good. Well, that's good, Rich. Anything else that happened to you this week? You're happy?
I was going to mention something, but then I had a dream last night and it sort of trumped everything else I've done this week.
Go on.
So I thought I'd mention that. So I had a dream that I'd been somewhere and came home and I thought, right, I'm going to get straight into my comfies. So as I went through the door and I was going up the stairs, I was taking my clothes off straight away, which I don't normally do.
I don't like where this is going.
Oh, wait, Paul. Walked into my room completely naked, and there was a strange woman rifling through Laura's clothes, who I didn't recognise. So I screamed, and then she screamed, and I was like, and then I was effing and jeffing her. I was like, "What are you doing in my house?" Basically. So I said, "I'm ringing the police." And then when I said I was ringing the police, she turned into a sock puppet.
Wow.
And I was like, Why have you just done that? Because I don't want the police to know that I've been in your house. I was like, all right, fair enough. So I kept hold of this sock puppet, and then this is where it gets really weird. I noticed I told Laura the dream up to this point. I didn't want to tell her the rest of it because I just thought I'm going to get sectioned here.
Oh no, go on.
So I noticed on the sock puppet there was a little nubbin, and whenever I brushed past this nubbin, because at this point the sock puppet had gone dead. So I said to her, "I know what you're doing. You're going to pretend you're just a sock puppet now, aren't you?" She was like, "Yeah, I am. I'm not getting arrested." So I noticed whenever I brushed past this nubbin, her eyes started twitching.
Oh God.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of men seem to struggle with this kind of thing.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
So I had to prove to the police that this sock puppet was alive by
stimulating it.
By stimulating a sock puppet, yeah.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Well, based off the Toy Story.
It's the porno version,
mate.
I believe.
I love the fact that you won't tell your wife the second part, but you've told all the listeners on the podcast.
I've told the whole world,
Yeah.
and I know that Laura won't be listening, so I feel like I'm safe.
What's their Twitter handle again?
She doesn't have Twitter either.
Oh, somebody should send her a link, definitely.
Yeah, wow. So, if anyone wants to write in and do an interpretation, I think it's pretty clear what Richard's dreams about.
I think, yes.
Yeah. But amazing.
Upload it to Pornhub. I think that's the only suitable place for it.
Amazing. Wow.
Oh my goodness.
I did a short.
I don't think we can follow that.
I did a short film with sock puppets, Richard. So you should don't watch that. Dude, too much excitement.
Dude, it's your new 90-second story, is that?
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, for Blue Time. Good.
30-second stories after dark.
After dark, yeah.
Wow.
Good. Well, I've done nothing compared to that. Have we talked about She-Hulk before on Disney? We'd have a little chat there. I don't think I have I? She-Hulk's on Disney. It's coming to the end of its 9 series. I think it's 9 episodes. This thing. It's really good. It's got a really good. It's a sitcom basically. They've done a comedy sitcom, and I think it's pretty good for kind of all the family really. But it's really fun. It's some brilliant characters in there. Some very good new characters are coming from one episode, but all very familiar Marvel characters as well. It's a really interesting. It's kind of made me enjoy Marvel once again. I got a bit sort of like wasn't not enjoying stuff, but I was like, oh god, another Marvel thing. But this is a nice way of just flipping it all on its head a bit. She talks to camera. It's all a bit sort of meta sometimes. Yeah, it's great. And I'm really looking forward to the finale, which I think is out now. Anyone of you seen it?
No.
I've just finished What If, so I'm way behind.
Oh, right. There you go. Ages, yeah. It's good though. Really, I recommend it. It's only half an hour, 20 minutes or something. It really feels like really a sitcom type thing. Blink and it's gone. Good games. Now, what have we been playing in the last couple of weeks? We've got a lot to catch up on. Let's start with James. Let's start with you.
Oh Christ! I was still thinking about sock puppets.
Don't think about it.
Don't think about sock puppets. Goodness me.
Can't help it now. It's a new fetish we've all discovered.
Wow.
Right. So my first game is Lego Brick Tales. Now we all know Lego games are usually AAA blockbusters with Marvel heroes and Harry Potter wizardry. But this one, it just goes back to basics. You are just making things out of Lego. Kind of the way it should be. And you go to different worlds. So like there's a desert world, a jungle world. You have to help people by building things. Like you might build a staircase or a bridge or even a little market stall for a local trader. You're helping everyone. It's good to help people. And in return, you get happiness crystals. And then you use these to do the overall aim, which is to reinvigorate an amusement park. But what I like the most is that when you build something, you go into a build mode. But when you come back to the main world, your construction is there integrated into the game world. So it's like you created part of the game world. It's really nice. I've done that. The only drawback is that when you're building Lego stuff, it's quite finicky. It's hard to get the placement how you want it, which is a bit of a pain, because you are building quite a lot of the time. But yeah, most of the puzzles are quite varied. There's some physics involved, a little bit of solving riddles as well before you build stuff.
Right.
But yeah, it's just Lego. It's Lego how it should be.
There's another Lego game that came out, and this is why I sort of looked at the image and I got a bit confused. What was that one? You know the one I mean?
Lego Builder's Journey.
That's it. So is that in the similar kind of developers in the world of that?
It's a similar concept,
Right. Okay.
but slightly bigger because there's like 5 different worlds. I think Richard reviewed Builder's Journey.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't very long, was it?
No, it was only a couple of hours, but I think that was much more story-based from what I've seen about Lego Brick Tales.
Yeah.
That tells the story of a father and son.
Oh, okay.
Whereas Brick Tales is, the story's a little bit rubbish, but the building's really good fun.
Oh.
I gave it a 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5.
Can I just check then? So basically, in this Brick Tales, you go and you are just given an objective, and you just build whatever you fancy, or have you got plans to follow? Or
good question. So if you find someone that's stuck up high, and you need to go some stairs, it'll give you a selection of bricks. Not loads of bricks, but just enough to give you a little bit of an idea of what you might need to use. And then you've got to get creative. You know what you need to build, but not how to build it.
Right. So there's no. It's not like an outline or whatever, and you have to put the bricks in. You just you build whatever you fancy. So if you wanted to get this person down from up high, could you build like a fireman's pole?
No, because they have to have like a platform to stand on. It has to be a platform. But it can be a bit.
You can't just poke them out of the tree or whatever.
No, I did try it.
All right.
But no.
Yeah. Okay. Worth a thought. It sounds certainly sounds intriguing. Yep. So it's quite creative. Yeah.
Very creative. Yeah, definitely.
Interesting.
Paul's going to get this one. You sold Paul.
Well, I do have a 11-year-old son who'd much rather shoot people in the face, so I might just play it myself.
Yeah, good. It's a statement and a half. Don't clip that out. Right.
Well,
Paul, what's your game been?
hello. My game, carrying on from my last comment, is Overwatch 2 I've been playing, which has gone free to play, and from everything that I can see, appears to be much more Overwatch 1.5. It isn't. There doesn't seem to be very much sequel stuff in it, shall we say. There's a few new characters and things, but if you've played Overwatch 1, you've pretty much played Overwatch 2, I think. Now, I'm not awfully good at Overwatch, but my son is very good indeed. So it's been quite humbling just playing with him. It's like, what are you doing, Daddy? Do you know you need to go over here and protect this point? And I'm like, no, I haven't got a clue. So, yeah, it's very much more of the same of Overwatch, and keep your eyes peeled for an upcoming review.
But they've got rid of the 2 tanks, haven't they? So it's just 1 tank now allowed, which is sort of, from what I understand, because would you believe it? I reviewed the first game. We didn't have much of us on then.
I wouldn't believe that.
But at the time, I really loved it because I was there. No one knew what they were doing. So everyone, for the first week or so, I was quite good. And then everyone started being... But from my understanding, in the old other one, you used to have 2 tanks support. And I think from the first game, it became very tactical because they had 2 tanks and they would put up shields. And everyone would be behind them, and it would be like that. And they got down to 1 tank now, so it becomes much more of a free-for-all game. But much more kind of opens it up a bit, so you're not just 2 teams behind shields and then just trying to plug it out. It's much more about just vary the gameplay out. And that's upset certain people because the tactics have changed, like especially the kind of pros. But I think they're trying to get new people in, aren't they, to kind of, because like with all these multiplayer things, after a while it just becomes too hard to get in there, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly an element of that. You can tell that people have been playing Overwatch forever because they seem to know all of these little sneaky tricks with the characters that are returning. So, yeah, I mean, coming into it as a noob as I am, as my son reminds me, it's quite difficult to break into it. So,
and they've had some problems, haven't they, with this launch? Normal launch stuff. There's been sort of all sorts of issues.
So, yeah, there's been DDoS attacks on the servers and all sorts of things. So, yeah, it seems to have settled down now. When we tried to play it sort of on launch day, we were sat in a queue of 20,000 people trying to get in.
Wow.
So, yeah, but now it's calmed down and people are just playing it normally. So, yeah, I mean, that bit's okay, but it's still Overwatch.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
you'd be great at it, Gary.
I loved it. I loved it when I first played it. And then we got everyone on, and it was like, no, this is too hard now. But they're going to do some single player stuff with it, some narrative stuff. God knows what it is, but that was meant to launch with the Overwatch 2, but they're going to launch that much later. Probably next year sometime. So I'd be interested in that to see what they might do with that, because those are all short films they do with the characters are interesting. I like to see that, and it's got a big lore and story to that kind of world. I'd be interested in that. That's maybe when I'll come in, but I'm not going to do it again.
Like you're not going to dive in and fight online with everybody else.
And like you said, it's 1.5 rather. It feels like a 1.5 rather than it doesn't. That doesn't interest me.
It's not a reinvention, let's put it that way.
Yeah. Good. Richard, what are you talking about?
I'm going to talk about Weedcraft Inc., which is a game that I'm currently reviewing. It's a simulation game where you basically create your millions by growing and selling weed. It's been on PC for a few years, but it's made its way to Xbox now, and it's very much like your typical simulation. So there's 3 main scenarios, and then you can create custom games that are much more open-ended. But the sort of beginner scenario, you start off returning home after your father passing away and basically not being able to pay your way through college anymore. And you get in touch with your little brother, and he's like, "I've just started selling weed. You should join me." And he will show you the ropes of how to grow and cultivate your crops, and then show you how to sell them to different groups of people and what strain of weed they prefer, because there's loads of different types, and you can create your own. But yeah, it's pretty good. There's a lot to learn. It goes really deep, a lot deeper than I was anticipating. So there's police, obviously, not necessarily patrolling, but they'll keep an eye on you certain areas where you're growing weed or you're selling weed. You can bribe them, you can befriend them to sort of say, look, this is what's happening here. Just turn a blind eye for me. But I think my biggest issue is, and it's an issue with a lot of simulation games on console, is the controls aren't very good. Like the UI for weed crafting is very busy, and navigating around these menus is a bit problematic. It tries to do a good thing where you can hold right trigger and quickly use the left thumbstick to navigate to one of the areas on the menu, but the information panels are a bit of a nightmare to navigate. And it's not the easiest game. Like this, like I say, this is a beginner tutorial, but after a couple of hours, it's like, right, you've got the basics down. We need to see you making so much money a month, and then we'll progress you to the next stage. And it really doesn't hold your hand from that point. It's much more about it lets you play it how you want to play it, but at the same time, it's so one of my areas, for example, I've got a few growth rooms in there, and I'm also selling there, but that's full now, so I can't. You can put like fronts on it so that the police think that what's going on is a little bit more legitimate. I can't put anything there now without getting rid of something, and it's just the police presence ratcheting up in that area. So things like that are constantly happening in the background, and there's a lot to keep an eye on. Yeah. But yeah, it's pretty good.
I think I've played this game in the year 2000 on PC in an office job I had, temp job.
Oh, what was that? It was like a browser game. Was it?
Yeah,
Drug Wars.
That's right. Yeah,
like that?
yeah. That's
I do
it.
remember that.
Wow,
that was our IT lessons misspent.
That's what it was. It feels very kind of similar, but a bit more basic from what you're saying. But yeah, wow, Drug Wars. Yeah, thank you, Richard. Any questions from you other guys on this?
Are there any sock puppets in it?
Thankfully not, because I'm already a bit concerned that I'm playing a game by growing weed in front of Laura, but with added sock puppets, there would be questions being asked, I'm sure.
Would be. I'm going to talk about a game. I'm sort of like going back. I'm playing a few games that I can't talk about until next week, but games in September. Now, James will remind me, have I talked about this already? I can't even say it. How do you say it? In Onzo.
Isenzo.
That's the one. I haven't talked about this on the podcast, have I?
I don't remember it.
No.
Nobody listens, though. We wouldn't know.
We wouldn't know. Can you say the name again for me, James?
Excuse me.
Isenzo?
Yes, that'll do. It's a first-person, almost battlefield type shooter, World War I shooter, and it focuses on the Italian in World War I, the battle over a certain mountain area between Italians and the Austrian-Hungarian Empire. So it has that area they battled, which is kind of mountainous area, and it's real places that it's based on, and it feels very much like a Battlefield clone. You're kind of thrown in and certain parts of the maps, and then it's all multiplayer. You can play single player, but it's just with bots, and they're awful. They just stand in walls or just look at you while you shoot them. But where it gets more interesting is like the multiplayer stuff. But again, you're literally you're either defending or you're attacking. It's very much like Battlefield thing, moving forward, going to checkpoints. And I think I reviewed this. I think it's maybe just come out now, but I've been playing it in September, maybe into this thing, and I gave it 3 stars. I think the the way it's a realistic kind of about the events and about that kind of battle and those two opposing sides and about the history of that. That's kind of interesting. And it's interesting that they've just sort of like focused down onto kind of on a very kind of small part of World War One. But it's a bit choppy. It looks good. Some of the kind of mountain ranges stuff look good, but it can be a little bit buggy sometimes, especially in single player. And I don't know what the difference is that between that and Battlefield 1. I don't know what it's offering. That experience. The battles are long. You know, if you do a big game, you might be playing for an hour and 15 minutes on one game. Or I think I had an hour and 15 was the longest one. I was like, oh my god, we're still attacking. There's another area to go. But yeah, James, you played it with me, didn't you? You tried one out.
I think the best thing I say about it is that by the end of the match, you're relieved that it's over.
Just like war.
Pretty much, yeah. It's very accurate.
Yeah.
It's painful, torturous.
Yeah. And there's...
bothered.
But I think that's the problem. I think it's fine. I just don't know where it's... it's awful paying for it. I think it might be $24.99.
Come too late, hasn't it?
Yeah. Why would you...
It's been done.
Yeah. If it's... I think they've done other games like Verdansk. I think they're free to... That's it. They're free to play. So I think that would serve it better. It's a kind of free to play model. And I think it would have those, but I worry that I don't know how those servers are going to keep alive. But maybe they will. Maybe it's fine. But yeah, it's good, but it's not great. It doesn't offer anything new. Let's go back to James. James, what's your second one?
I don't know. I was going to do FIFA.
Yeah, do FIFA, because we haven't done FIFA yet.
Yeah,
nobody cares about football.
Well, tough. You're listening.
I'm just going to think about Stock Puppet.
You do that, but mute your mic. Right.
Stop splittering your eyelashes at me, Sock Puppet.
Oh, come on now, I'm going to focus.
Yeah.
Right. So FIFA 23, we talked about it a little bit on the podcast before, but having now put loads of hours into it and the reviews on the site, I give it a 4 out of 5. Basically, the gameplay I think is better than it's been in recent years. I think it's improved quite a lot in the way that players have different run styles and you can't really place abuse like you used to be able to. So it's more about outplaying your opponent. Not as much luck, even though there's still some luck element to it. The better players generally will win. That's what I find. I did struggle a bit with finding what's new in the modes, though, in the game modes. I mean, clubs have just been tagged along with Volta, which is just a disaster for clubs. It doesn't belong there. It's pointless. Career mode, not really changed. And I was really disappointed that they've added a women's league from France and the English Women's League. But they're not in the career, and they're not in Ultimate Team. And will they really use them in a 1 versus 1 match or, in kick-off? It's a waste opportunity. So in the game modes department, they can do better. But gameplay, I think it's really entertaining. So I'm enjoying it a lot so far.
I think visually it looks better. So it feels like this, big as a kind of step up about what the things they do, how it just got a nice shine to it. I think you're right. I think it's a good 4. I think it's a much more improved. I'm enjoying it as well. I think it has a much more. You have to kind of, but I agree with you. Modes again. I think Volta. I don't know who plays that. I don't know anyone who plays that. So people might like it. And it'd be interesting to see because this is the last FIFA. It'd be interesting to see what happens next.
Yeah, I think they're saving something because if we did have an idea for a new game mode or some big edition, you would save it, wouldn't you?
You want to launch it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, we're addicted again. We're playing again. Oh my God, when will it stop? Good, thank you, James. Paul, what's your second one? Maybe your final one. Oh my God!
Oh, excuse me. I do beg your pardon.
Sorry, everyone, about that.
Sorry, everyone. Just put your eardrums back in. I've been sat here all the time James was talking, trying desperately not to cough. So, right. What shall I talk about? Now, I could talk about Gran Turismo 7 on the PlayStation 4 and how, after listening to you last time, I went out and bought it, and how I want my £50 back because it's not very good. So, you know those drinks that you think I'm buying?
You are buying it. I said to you, it's good if you like watching YouTube videos. And Richard's a big fan of GT7, so he would have. I mean, he's talked about it. I said it was fine.
It's all right as a racing game. What I can't understand is you can have the biggest crash in the world, and your car comes out on the other side looking as shiny and new as it did when it went in.
I know.
So I'm very disappointed by the lack of damage.
Have you got the options to do simulated damage?
You can turn it on so that if you crash, it wrecks it. But I haven't seen it do visual damage.
Oh, well, there we go.
So like when you play Forza Horizon 5, say, if you stack it into a wall, it comes out the other side looking bent.
You mean when you play Forza Horizon with you and you barge people into a wall?
I don't know what you're talking about.
And then say, "Why are you hitting me?" That's all we hear from Paul as he plows into us.
Last time we played Forza Horizon 5 with Richard, I was getting really annoyed with this guy who kept crashing into me and called him a dickhead, and it turned out to be Dobbo. So, that was quite good fun.
Okay.
But yeah, so I'm not going to talk about Gran Turismo 7 anyway. I'm going to talk about a role-playing game called Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, which is very big, very kind of Dungeons and Dragons-y, in that there are, when you choose a weapon, for instance, it tells you how many D10s you roll to choose the damage and this, that, and the other. So yeah, it's good. It looks good. The story is really enjoyable at the moment. I'm only sort of, a couple of 3 hours into it, so there's a lot more to come. And there will be a review forthcoming as well. But so far, it's very enjoyable. So I know that you're a big fan of a story-driven game, Gareth.
Yeah.
You like an RPG, don't
you? I do
you?
like an RPG. Yeah.
So this might be right up your alley. It's very enjoyable.
I've done
that's a bit weird is the battle system. In that you can either have it turn-based, like a standard RPG, or you can just leave it and set kind of you set sort of AI behavior almost, and let the characters run off and do the fighting all on their own, which is quite good fun.
Yeah,
so,
I like the sound of that. I don't have to do anything.
Yeah,
I've done a lot of RPGs in the last month. A lot of RPGs, but they're always good fun. Good Pathfinder. Richard, do maybe your final one. Just looking at the time. Let's just do
I suppose I should talk about Plunder Panic then, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
Oh God, do you have to?
Well, I'm reviewing it. You guys have played it with me, so yeah, might as well talk about it. Plunder Panic is a 6-on-6 pirate multiplayer game, a 2D game where two teams of pirates go on an all-out war to try and beat the other team of pirates. I played it with James and Paul one night over the weekend. I think it was Sunday night, and it's just carnage. We had us three, and 9. At one point, we had 9 bots on screen, and I couldn't tell what was happening at all. There's different ways to win. You can win by killing the opponent's captain so many times, collecting gold, firing cannonballs, or what's the word? Getting a boat.
Rowing a boat.
Rowing a boat into the opponents that's full of explosives. So there's like 4 or 5 different ways to win, and you've got up to 12 people on the screen at one time, all trying to go about their own way to win. And I imagine if you could get, we did it with 9 bots at one point, and then we thought it's just too much. There's too much happening on screen. We couldn't figure out how we were losing, basically, because we definitely weren't winning. So we knocked it down, the number of bots down, and I think we got a grasp of it after that, because it's got local and online multiplayer, but I think the online multiplayer is dead before it even got started, because again we were just against bots.
But what are you doing?
You know what? That's the question that I was asking myself on Sunday night, to be honest.
Yeah.
What am I doing with my life?
You've got to pick up gold to take it back to your ship, or you can go ahead and try and kill the opponent captain, or you can rowing this boat is literally just hammering the X button faster than someone else, basically. Or you can collect cannonballs. There's a big cannon in the middle of the map. If you put a cannonball in there, then it sets off a timer, and opponent players can stop the timer, or it will fire. And if you do that 3 times, you've just got to basically blow up the opponent's ship, or make sure you've claimed all the gold.
Great.
And it's just a bit manic, a bit too manic. Like, I appreciate there's different ways of winning, but if there's 12 people on screen, you just can't focus on what you're trying to do, or even stopping anyone, because there's always someone else doing something different. And that's the only mode. Like, there's different maps that are slightly different, but that is the only mode in the game. It's this one thing.
Wow. Plunder Panic. Not one for anyone. Paul had a great time.
Avoid. I did see a little glimpse behind the curtain in this when Neil was asking Richard who he wanted to help him to review it, and he said, "Make sure you give Paul a copy because he'll hate it." So I thought that was really kind. Thank you, Richard.
It's easy game of score.
Oh, there you go.
Ultimately,
yeah.
Well, yeah, but you have to play it anyway. Sorry, I shouldn't be so negative, but it was dreadful.
There you go.
Still, it's better than Skull and Bones is going to be. So
yeah.
That is it.
I played one of your recommended games, Paul, and it was very good. And you were right. The Doom game, the Doom clone game, that's really good.
Yes, Frodiest.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
it's really good. If you get that's brilliant. I did a couple of levels and thought, I'll go back to this. It's great. I'm going to just really briefly talk about the last game, which is Cube, QUBE, the 10th anniversary edition. Cube came out on PC 2014. I think we had it on Xbox as well, 2017. Mm-hmm. But this, if you haven't played it before, this is the 10th anniversary. It's got some new levels in there. Visuals have had a massive update. It just looks completely different. Looks great. And you're just this person going through these kind of like, almost think of things like Portal. You're going through these sort of test rooms where you have to move cubes around, which do different things. Ones you can step on, some will make you jump, some teleport. So you're basically going from room to room, and there's this story underneath it told through these kind of voiceovers that's there as well. It's great. It's really good. If you've played the original, that was really good. This is a kind of an extra one. In the 10th anniversary, you've got commentary on there from the developers, but also you've got the old mode, the old game in there as well. And it's if you definitely haven't played it before and you like puzzle games, this is a must get. Have a look at the review. Cube. Right, let's go on. Let's go to Richard. Richard, you've got something to do for us, haven't you? What have you got?
I have. So, in the spirit of Halloween, this week there was a scientific study published. There was a study published by a company that it's called Broadband Choices. They've claimed to have done a scientific study into the scariest game of all time.
Oh.
And they've got the list of top 25 scariest games of all time. And I saw this list and I thought, we can have a bit of fun with this. So I'm challenging you guys to name the top 25, basically.
Ooh.
I'll give you the first game because I think that I saw it from their Twitter. So the scariest game of all time is one that Gareth reviewed this year, and it is Madison. Would you agree with that, Gareth?
I'm trying to remember Madison. No, I wouldn't agree with that. No, definitely not.
Okay, well, this list should be brilliant then.
Yeah.
It's off to a strong start.
So I thought we'd go around, each person having 4 or 5 guesses, and then if it's in the list, I will tell you what position it's in, and that will be your score. I will then I'll divide it by the number you get right, and we'll have a score like that. So you want the lowest score possible.
This sounds really complicated.
Good, you know what you're doing. I like it.
I do know what I'm doing.
Oh, Madison was, I've just looked at Madison and reminded myself, it was scary. Yeah, but it's not the scariest. Yeah. Good.
So yeah, there's 25 games on this list. Most of them are on Xbox. There's a few that I've not heard of from different developers in Asia. But like I say, the majority are on Xbox, so I think we should be all right. So I've got James, Gareth, Paul in that order. If James wants to go first with a guess.
Yeah. I'll probably name all 25.
That's why I'm letting you go first.
One guess.
For now, yeah. We'll go around.
Just before you do your guess, can I just check something? Sorry.
Yeah.
Imagine that there's a series of games that have been scary. Are we looking for one game in particular, or is it the series?
Games in particular.
Okay.
Because there might be more than one appearance.
Right.
Right. Thank you very much.
Go on, James.
Ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
Outlast.
Oh.
You've stolen mine.
Sorry. It's number 12.
Oh, well done, James.
Oh.
Well done, James.
Really good.
You must have read my mind.
So James currently has 12 points.
Well done, James. Good one.
Well done.
Alien Isolation.
Is number 2 on the list.
Oh, straight
Strong
in.
start from Bonkers Brierley.
Paul?
Oh, well, I'm going to have to go for the scariest then, aren't I? Trying to think of a game that scared me, apart from Plunder Panic.
That's not on the list. I can confirm that now.
That wasn't a guess. That was just a bit of social commentary. Rocket League scares me as well, but probably not for the same reason as anyone else. I will say Silent Hill 2.
Ooh, good choice.
Is number 23 on the list.
Oh, I thought it'd be
Really?
higher. Yeah.
Gosh. Okay.
So we'll go back round to James.
Layers of Fear.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's joint 16th on the list.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Can I just say Resident Evil?
The original.
The original, yeah.
No.
No, it's not there. Wow. We know one of them's there.
Okay, next one. Trying to think of really scary games. What about Fatal Frame stroke Project Zero?
The original?
Yes.
Not on the list, I'm afraid.
Oh, you're joking. I love that you're building the tension there, Gareth. That's great.
A couple of clues there.
Yes, there is. So, okay.
So back around to James for his third guess.
Resident Evil 2.
Is number 11 on the list.
I'm going to say Silent Hill.
The original?
Yeah.
Not on the list.
Damn.
There's no way that Silent Hill 1 or 2 is not on the list. That's bonkers.
Silent Hill 2 is on the list. because you guessed that.
It was quite
Oh, I did. You're
yeah.
right. Yeah, it was number 20 ridiculous, wasn't it? That's right. Listen, I can't listen to this and think about games as well. Right, let's have a think of another scary game then. What about Dead Space?
Oh, that's a good choice. That's a good one.
Number 10 on the list.
Oh, beaten James at least.
Well, we'll see.
James again for your fourth one.
Risky. I'll go Outlast 2.
Oh, that's a good one again.
It's number 5 on the list.
Hey!
Oh, James.
Higher than the first. Yeah.
So you've still got 3, 4 in the top 5 available, Gareth.
And number 1, obviously.
Oh, until dawn.
See, I would have said that one.
Ah, it's not
but
there.
that is not on the
Ah,
list.
damn.
Oh, can I ask a question, Richard?
You can.
Do you get how many points do you get for getting the wrong answer?
No points. So you've seen the flaw in my scoring.
Just checking.
I will
Right. So is
continue
it my
on
turn
with
again now?
yes.
What about Resident Evil 7?
That's what I was going to say. I thought, yeah, it's a good one.
It's number 6 on the list.
Oh,
no!
I tell you what I'll do, because so at the moment the scoring, James has got one right every time, so I'll just I'm thinking out loud here, but
So we'll disqualify James. Is that what you're saying?
no, I've fixed it. So we'll go around one more time. If you get it wrong, I've added 25 points to your score.
yeah, nice. Like it.
Good Lord.
So that'll even it out.
Yeah. Who is it now?
James for his 5th guess.
Is it Resident Evil 8? Village?
Joint 16th on the list.
Oh.
Who said Outlast 1?
James, did he?
James.
Yeah.
All right, so I've included that then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's me, isn't it?
Did someone
is
say
you.
Outlast 2?
James did as well.
Yeah,
James
me.
again. Yeah.
Right.
Is it a third one?
I'm just getting myself confused now. Gareth again.
I've got one. Is this going to count, I wonder? Because it is PT. The famous demo.
See, now the PT is not on the list.
Oh!
There is a section to say why it's not on the list.
Oh,
because
damn.
It's not considered
It's not a full game, yeah.
Yeah, it's only a demo, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll let you go again, Gareth.
But let me go again.
Should we let him
Oh,
go
that's
again?
nice. The other one I'm going to say is of the same thing. Slender Man, the 8 pages thing. What's it called? It Slender Man, isn't it?
It's not on the list.
Damn.
What about Dead Space 2?
What's that bloody game?
No,
No.
it's not there.
What? Oh. Have these guys ever played a horror game? Anyway.
We'll go through one more time, and then I'll put you out of your misery.
Okay, one more. I've got one, but I don't know if it's going to be on there. Go on, Jay.
Yeah.
It's games first, isn't it?
Silent Hill 3.
It's number 19 on the list.
Jesus Christ! I can't believe it's Silent Hill 3's there, and not the first 2. That's madness.
No, 2 was there.
2 wasn't
Yeah,
there?
2 was there.
Was it?
2
Oh, yeah.
2 was
Okay.
there.
Oh, damn. Now, I don't know the right word for this, but I remember because I reviewed it and it's meant to be for amnesia.
Yes, it's number 8 on the list.
Ah, yeah.
Oh, it's a great
Ooh,
score.
well done. Right, final guess. What do I think? Can we say Project 02? Is it Crimson Butterfly?
It's not on the list.
Oh, what?
What? Outrageous.
Fatal Frame 3 is on the list, but
Well, of course
not-
it is. Yeah, the one that nobody ever played. Yeah.
okay, so final scores are Paul in last place with 28.5, Gareth with 18.3, and James with 13.1.
Oh, well done, James.
You
Well
can be
done,
embarrassed.
James.
Do you want to?
Sorry,
You,
You can all
Paul.
be embarrassed.
You're so-
Paul, you got 19 points, so it's a little bit better.
No, 19.
This is from the non-horror person who's won this game.
Yeah.
Are you going to fill in the gaps? Tell us what the thing
Yes.
is. Yeah.
So number 3 was Visage,
Mm.
which I believe's on Xbox.
Mm.
Number 4 was Five Nights at Freddy's 4.
Jesus. Yeah.
Five Nights at Freddy's 4, not the first one.
I'm just relaying the information.
Hey, listen, you're just the messenger. All right, I get it.
Outlast 2 at 5, Resident Evil 7 at 6, and then Bloodborne was number 7. Yeah, I was a bit
No
skeptical
way.
about that.
Yeah.
Amnesia, The Forest, Dead Space,
Oh, The Forest.
Resident Evil 2,
Yeah.
Outlast, Soma, Silent Hill 4, Condemned, Devotion, Layers of Fear, Resident Evil 8, Silent Hill 3, Home Sweet Home, The Evil Within,
Oh yeah, even within. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I forgot
it's good,
about that
yeah.
one.
The Death, Silent Hill 2, Fatal Frame 3, and Cry of Fear. Were your top 25 scariest
Oh,
games
brilliant.
of all time.
I enjoyed that, Richard. I like that a lot. That was really good. Thank you.
What was the scariest game of all time according to them?
Madison. So they worked it out they took the average resting heart rate, took the average game heart rate, and then the difference in BPM is how they've judged it. So Madison had an overall difference of 32 BPM.
Blimey.
That's how they worked it out.
Good.
I'm surprised an old fella like Gareth could review it.
I'm used to it. It's like I'm done so many horror games now. It's like, what are you going to do? Actually, was that quite scary? Something
It
I
looked
played
it.
recently that was really scary. I think it was that.
I think it was that and Oxide Room 104 that came out around a similar time.
Yeah, I was doing a lot of them. I'm walking around with cameras a lot as well.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing. But I did a game in February time, the World War II one. Oh, Martha is Dead. That was terrifying. A very good game. Good, brilliant. News-wise, we haven't really got much done. We're getting little drips and drabs of Starfield. They've got to come out with a date soon. I think it's going to come soon, isn't it? They said about Starfield's got sort of like loads more audio lines and lines of dialogue, double the amount from Fallout 4. They've done lots of artwork. Yeah, they've got it. Do you think they're going to do it soon? When do you reckon? When do you reckon we're going to get
It'll
a
be
date?
Game Awards now, won't it, for a release date?
When are the Game Awards?
December.
Okay, yeah, okay. And what's your estimate? If we say this every time, when do you think it's going to be now? If it's December again? April. What are you going to say, Paul?
I'm going to say February because there's not much coming out around then.
Oh, and James, what do you think?
I think it'll be in March.
Ah.
9th of March.
Do you know what I think? May. Redfall, March. That in May.
Okay.
It's my going now. Yeah. But I'm always wrong.
Big Gareth.
No, I'm always wrong. I'm terribly. I'm always wrong at stuff, so don't listen to me.
It'll be delayed for a year.
It will do, like Cyberpunk. When I called it, it's never going to get delayed. Delayed.
Yeah.
Next day. Just to let you know, we've got a little on the Xbox Hub. It's you've got a chance to win an Xbox game code if you go onto the site for the game Evil, Evilee. All you're going to do is go into the site. I think James might put it it's in the link in the article.
I'll consider it.
Yeah, thank you, James. It's you can play. It's a social deduction party affair. It looks good. It's on Series X. You can get a game code. I think we're giving 10 away. All you got to do is just do the little widget thing on the link and sign up. And I think tomorrow as well, or today, because you're listening today, you can also look. There's going to be a competition for the game, The Eternal Cylinder, which has got an Xbox Series X release. I reviewed the Xbox One, and it's great. A really weird little kind of indie game about a weird giant cylinder that's destroying the world that you have to run. It's brilliant. So look out for that as well tomorrow, or today, or now, if you're there. What are we looking forward to next week? Richard.
Today, tomorrow, it's all the same.
Yeah. Richard, what are you looking forward to?
On Sunday and Wednesday, I'm seeing Alexis on Fire that I previously mentioned on the Xbox.
Explain to us again where the name comes from.
I mean, do you want me to? Because I feel like I've done the sexual quote.
Yeah, don't. It's just too dirty. It's too dirty.
Yeah. Seeing their touring, I think they're starting tomorrow in Glasgow. So yeah, really excited to see them again.
Great. Good. Paul, what about you? What are you looking forward to?
Next week, I have to go and have an eye test.
You're looking forward to that?
Well, it's kind of weird because to do this, it's a diabetic screening thing. And what they do is they put these drops in your eyes that expand them. So for like 4 hours afterwards, you can see everything in the world. It's absolutely remarkable.
Wow.
You come outside and it can be a cloudy day and you need your sunglasses on because you can literally see molecules in the air. It's absolutely crazy. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and then just going to work again, which is my life now.
I like the way you're saying looking forward to. You're looking forward to going to work and having a 45-minute eye experience. That's it.
Oh, it's not 45 minutes, mate. It lasts for about 5 hours.
Oh, there you go. All right,
that sounds horrific.
Yeah, it does sound horrific.
You're saying that Dead Space 2 is one of the scariest games of all time, and then you get to live it in real life.
Absolutely. But if anybody comes near me with a drill, I'm running. So
you'll see.
I wouldn't see them. To be fair. Yeah. So that's that. Would I don't live an exciting showbiz life like you, Gareth. I'm afraid I have to take my fun where I can get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, sorry, I did have one more thing to mention. I keep forgetting to mention that. Ever since talking about you and being what a successful actor you are and everything else, my son has now decided to take up drama. And he's in a production at his new school.
Good. Tell him not to do it.
There you go.
Lock him in a room now.
Tell him to run.
That's
good. You have inspired the next generation of actors.
Good. Brilliant. James, what are you looking forward to?
I think I'm going to start that Taxi Driver series that Paul recommended.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's really good. I'm still watching it, and it's gone very, 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 very dark. So, yeah, it's great.
A second series.
Oh. Has it?
So that was good. Yeah.
So it's almost as good as the Resident Evil series then, because I'm sure that second series is coming anytime.
I'm sure no one will remember that.
No one tell him.
No one tell him.
Don't tell me.
It's coming soon. Coming soon. I'm looking forward to next week. We've got Scorn coming out now. You can play it now. You're probably playing it now. Scorn's coming out, and a Playtale Requiem is coming next Tuesday. And I think on the next podcast I can talk about it. So that'd be great. So, but for now, if we need to find you, where can we get you, Richard?
I'm on Twitter and Instagram, and my handle is @Dobbo1912.
And Paul, where can we find you?
I am also on the Twitter, and my handle is @XboxHub.
And James.
Do you want to get some recommendations for scary games? Hit me up on Twitter. My tag is @OKTKO.
And you can find me at TB Briley on Twitter and Twitch. But for now, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
You've been listening to the official podcast of TheXboxHub.com. You'll be able to find all the notes of this show at www.TheXboxHub.com
xboxhub.com/podcast. You can also check out our social feeds on Instagram and Twitter at The Xbox Hub, and search for The Xbox Hub on Facebook.